You're listening to The Front Stretch on AM 590, Omaha's ESPN Radio. Brought to you by Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs. Online at joeskarting.com.
This is Turn 3 on The Front Stretch, presented by Joe's Karting, located at 23rd Ave, next to AMC Theaters, and online at joeskarting.com. Get to Joe's Karting today, where you can get yourself some fast-paced white-knuckle racing, where the only speed restriction is how fast you are. Joined in studio today with the man, the myth, and apparently a little bit of a legend over in Adams County, Wayne Q. Thank you for joining us this morning. How are you doing?
Thanks for having us.
Well, Wayne, tell us a little bit about yourself. How'd you get into racing? How long have you been racing? All your kind of accolades, all the different trophies you won, how many times you've wrecked Bud, all that kind of great stuff.
Well, not enough as far as wrecking Bud.
That's just wrong.
No, I've basically been around racing since 1968. I got in on the tail end of even the old modified coupes and that. I kind of cut my teeth in racing at the old Playland Park. A lot of drivers, Ron Tilley, Dave Chase, Eddie Morris, driver of the 2X car before it went into the Hall of Fame.
And
basically, I've been a driver, been pit and that, and here now for the last 2 years now is my first chance of being on the management side of track and that.
And that's referring to Adams County Speedway?
That's referring to Adams County Speedway. I was asked down by Ray Houck, which is our race director at Adams County Speedway, to come down and start doing some, because I've basically been a photojournalist for about the last 5 years and that, doing write-ups, and I've been working with Lee Ackerman on different stuff for the World Herald and that. And so I was down there taking photographs, and one thing led to another, and then a couple of people wanted to step down on our fair board and that, so I was asked to join, so I went ahead and joined that. So now I have a voting right with the Adams County Fair and Race Association, which basically overall are the promoters of the track. Ray Houck, our race director, is an outside. He's not a membership of our racing association. He has no voting rights in that, but it works out very well for us in that.
So talk about some of the changes you guys have made in the off season, or have you made any kind of changes?
Well, yes, we've made some very major changes in the track, the configuration that we've really what we call fattened up the corners. In the past, basically, Adams County Speedway was a half-mile hairpin turn track. We have taken the corners. We've extended and banked them up to about a 13-degree in the banking. We got 65-foot turns from top to bottom.
What were they banked at before?
It was just a semi-bank. I'm going to say it wasn't even pushing 8-degree banking. It was basically a 1-2-lane track and that. Going back in history, back 5 years in there. Mm-hmm. Front stretches, we've fattened that out, so we're 75 foot on the front stretch now on width and that. We
good God, 75 feet on the front stretch?
That's width.
Yeah, width-wise. That's good. That's good. 7-8 cars wide.
And we get it some nights, too.
Andrew's got enough room to get by Bill Layton Jr. now.
Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves.
I ain't going there. I've had enough of this.
It's too early to screw with Andrew.
But anyway, what we've done, like I say, we've reconfigured the track. We got some good people down there working in that on the fair board and that. We've renovated the grandstands, fixed them up a little bit. Major things were done about 4 or 5 years ago. In the past, all new Musco lighting's been put in. Wayland, which is our NASCAR weekly sponsor, they come through, and we have some good lighting system now, warning lights and that for the tracks. They also provide lighting and allowances for our safety vehicles and that through.
Drivers like Andrew and I, if we wanted to come down to Corning Speedway, as a driver, what are some of the changes that you've made for the drivers going into the 2012 season?
Well, for one thing, just for instance, over the winter and that, just the first thing is for a B mod and that, you can put a 4-barrel on it. Technically, I can't get into everything because I'm not the tech guy on that, but we're trying to get back on our late models, and we've been even working with Andrew's dad, Joe, which is a promoter and the owner at I-80 Speedway, of trying to get our late models, trying to get them back on the same page. We're getting real close right now. We've worked with Joe and Rick Holling and Lee Ackerman, the people at I-80 and that, and then our people, Louis Avila, our tech, Ray Houck and I, our race director and that one. So we've had some meetings over the winter and that. So what we're trying to do, not getting away from Adams County here, but what we're trying to do is basically we're a NASCAR Whelen All-American Series, which I-80 is also. And the reason I mentioned both tracks is because they've taken their show to a Friday night, whereas we're a Saturday night show. So what we're trying to do, we're the only NASCAR weekly series track in the state of Iowa. So our drivers, the state points doesn't mean anything. They run for national points. So what we're trying to do is to give the I-80 drivers the opportunity to run at the I-80 show on Friday nights and then come to our house Saturday night and run for national points. There's a lot more benefits, a lot better payouts, and that.
Well, speaking of payouts, explain the payout. I remember you told me a while back if you have 20 or more cars in a certain class, you pay a little better.
We've been doing that for 2 years now. On our late models now, we pay above IMCA. The standard IMCA late model win for first place is $600. Our first place winner always has collected $750. Now, what we do is when we get 20 or more vehicles or cars in there, we up that to $1,000. We also do that on our A mods, whereas they run for a $500 purse. We will take if they get 20 or more, which is nothing because we have a very good car count on the A mods, always have, which we don't call them A mods, they're modifieds. But same token, but we up that to $750 now if they have 20 or more cars and that. So it's just a little bit of incentive we try to put in to.
Now, do you pay a little bit more for the lower division cars, the pro stocks? And
well,
those
no, that
B mods.
Comparing track, it's kind of like oranges and apples and that. One track's going to be paying here. They may Shelby County Harlan on a couple of maybe like hobby stocks and that. They may pay a little bit more, but yet if you come back to maybe what we call the Pro-Am or Pro Stock class, maybe we pay a little bit more there, but. In the lower classes, and that, as you're aware of in racing, and that it's not going to be a very, you're looking at a 250, 300, depending on the class. And
right, you're definitely not in the sport to make money, that's for sure.
Yeah, right, and the all-important question is, dead last, what does that pay out?
That just varies on the vehicle. There is tow money available. Even if you don't get nothing else, you're going to get tow money.
We just want to make sure Bud's going to get covered if he goes there and races.
Well, what we do, we're starting a new policy, especially for the B mods and that. Rookie drivers with a number 25, they have to have a green tape put on the back of their bumper.
That's a good rule. It's a very good rule.
I put that 4-barrel on, I'm going to make 40 mile an hour look good.
If you don't run out of fuel.
Good point.
So as a fan, where can we go to find information out, or what do we got to do? What's it cost to go there? Is the crowd, a couple years ago, the crowd at Corning used to be, phenomenal. I spent the night there one time, and people were actually tailgating in the city of Corning.
I've seen that too.
People tailgate before the race, and then it slowly started dying down there shortly. Is the crowd building back up the past couple weeks?
It's building. We had a little bit of transition there. We had previous owners that stepped back. They retired, the Hampel family. We had a couple of other entities, a radio station, one thing and another that tried running it. So here for the last 3 or 4 years, it's come back to the Adams County Fair and Racing Association. What we've done basically we're getting good crowds back now. I think last year we averaged about 1440, and that's pretty fair. Our general admission, we kind of leave that stay right at $10, except with the exception of specials. But for our weekly show and that, it's $10. And then there's discounted prices for kids like 12 and under.
Where can people go to? Is there a website dedicated for the
we've got two. We've got our website, which is www.acspeedway.com. We also have a Facebook page, which it's a lot of activity going on in that. Mm-hmm. That's basically Facebook, I guess, / AC Speedway.
Okay, that Facebook thing getting kind of big nowadays.
Yeah. Now, if you get on that Facebook now, you're going to see. I've been talking about some of the new configurations and working that we've done on it. Lori King, our track photographer, she went up in a helicopter here about a week ago, and she took about 60 photographs of Corning and of the area, Lake Icara, and that. Another thing I want to touch on is, like Andrew mentioned, prom night, or you mentioned, Dan, prom night. We got a race. Corning is a racing community.
Yeah.
Sponsorship and that. And then we try to give back to the community, too, because Corning, surprisingly, with good crowds, good sponsorship, our advertisers really come through for us in that. So we get a good stream of revenue on that. Plus our front and back gate concessions, one thing and another. But what we tried to do is give back to the community. And what I mean by this is like the high school and that, we give up 2, maybe 3 of different denomination on scholarships and that. So we give back to the public library, different community development projects and that. Because
that's great to hear.
The town backs and we think it's fair that Adams County Speedway gives back to the community.
Yeah, it's. I'm from that area, not the Corning area, but from that section of Southwest Iowa. I perfectly understand what that's like, having a very small town, and when you've got fans that come out to attract, you want to make sure you take care of them and show their appreciation and get back to a town that's so great to you.
It's not. We have. I don't know what it is about Corning, but it's a little unique. I mean, we have drawing power. We have drivers from Nebraska, Omaha. We have drivers coming from north of I-80 and Iowa and that coming in. Yeah. We have a lot of drivers come in. Billy Gibson, B-Mod driver last year from Knoxville.
Yeah.
He's a past Knoxville champion down there in the B-Mod.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's great, man. We really do appreciate you getting up this morning and joining us. It was great to have you in studio. Once again, AC Speedway is where you go to get ticket prices, acspeedway.com to go to get ticket prices, schedules, that kind of stuff.
Dan, I'd like to touch on, we are going to be having from I-80 in that. Joe Andrews' father, he's got the SLMR late model series. It's a traveler series and that. And we're going to have them in June 6th for our show at Adams County Speedway. And what we're going to do, like I said, we've been working pretty close back and forth with Joe and the crew over at I-80. And what we're going to do at Adams County this year on the SLMR, irregardless if it's one of our local drivers, who it is, we're going to be able to give up and give out 2 provisions for the Silver Dollar race at I-80.
Oh, nice.
And then come up June 30th, this is going to be one night after I-80 has their late model show, the 29th. They're going to have like the Mars, MLRA, and the Corn Belt Series over at I-80. Then they're going to come to our house Saturday night, the 30th, and that.
And that's June.
So, and we're going to have a $5,000 to win that night.
So that's June 30th.
That's June 30th on the late models. $5,000 to win.
Make sure you get that information to Bud, and we'll make sure to post it on our Facebook page, and we'll talk about it as it gets closer.
Then in September is our big race, and we're working with I-80 on this also. Is we run no late models on our. This is our tradition race, and this will be run in September. And
acspeedway.com is the place to go to get all that kind of information.
And then also on the
Facebook,
out. Just Facebook/AC Speedway. And that.
Well, thank you so much again for joining us.
Thanks for having me here, Dan.
Turn 4 just around the corner. This is the Front Stretch presented by Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs on AM 590, Omaha's ESPN Radio.
This is Andrew from Kaziski Auto Parts. Kaziski Auto Parts is an insurance-quality used parts supplier that can match your foreign or domestic car or truck needs. If you have a damaged or broke-down car or truck, we guarantee a clean and quality part in next-day fashion. Kaziski Auto Parts, your neighborhood premium recycled parts supplier. Call any Kaziski Auto Parts salesman today by dialing 402-731-4592 or visit us at 5040 I Street in Omaha. Kaziski Auto Parts, our quality used parts will match your car or truck's needs.
Are you ready for fast-paced, adrenaline-pumping, wheel-to-wheel racing right here in the Metro? Get to Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs and see what it's like to race real go-karts. Joe's Karting knows it's no fun to race go-karts at 10 miles per hour, so they ripped the governors out, and now the only restriction is how good you are at racing. It's full-throttle, white-knuckle racing every day of the week. Head over to joeskarting.com for hours, prices, and specials, or give Buddy a call today and set up your group races at 712-256-5278.